stand up for the love of the Lord. Yeah, yeah, yeah. For the Lord, He will be holy. Give your charity to the needy without a pause or hesitation. And truly, if the heavens are your heading, the Lord's grace your destination. Then remember whose is that spirit you came by, and whose holy name you possess. Say, here I am, Lord, I am willing, and in His grace you will be sent. Because revenge will take away from you, leave you empty. Whoa, whoa. Because higher than justice is mercy, and mercy leads to love. Yeah. And in the ending, in those final days, we all can stand up. Because mercy is higher than justice. Whoa, whoa. Yeah. Because mercy is higher than justice. Wait and see. Because revenge will take away from you, leave you empty. Whoa, whoa. Because higher than justice is mercy, and mercy leads to love. Yeah. And in the ending, in those final days, we all can stand up. Because mercy is higher than justice. Whoa, whoa. Yeah. Because mercy is higher than justice. Wait and see. Wait and see.
Welcome back. Good afternoon, ladies, gents, and Pikachus. We are back once again with the Daily Corvid Show. So we're going to do something a little bit more chill tonight. You know, we've done enough Bible readings. We've been attacking those hypocrites like there's no tomorrow. And I'm feeling like those guys need a bit of a rest, you know, for us criticizing them, calling them hypocrites and such a thing. So we're going to leave them alone. What I want to talk to you about is how we as human beings can use the practical teachings of Christianity to improve our lives on a daily basis, you know, while we're actually living our lives, not reading the Bible. You know, we're not going to go through any verses tonight. We're not doing any of that stuff. When we face the problems in our lives, problems in our love lives or at work, or maybe family, maybe personal problems, maybe you don't have as much confidence in yourself as you would like to have. These are problems we all face in life. And I feel like the answers to those problems, though they seem very difficult to come by, we can find in these books here if we just open a cover and have a look. So, how do we make time to read the Bible when nobody really wants to read the Bible? Well, some people do. I actually quite enjoy reading the Bible, but most people who are watching this stream don't spend that much time reading the Bible. And that's fair enough. I get it, guys. We're all busy. We've all got friends. We've all got family. We've all got work. We've all got stuff to watch on the TV or games to play. So how do we stop the Bible becoming a biblical buffet where we're just taking bits and bobs here and there and turn it into a spiritual supper where we can supercharge our lives and our actions in order that we can live joyously and righteously in the ways of our Lord? That's what we're going to be discussing today. So to start with, I thought I'll prepare a little list. You know, I love my lists. So I got my list here. First of all, I'm going to go through the 5 main reasons I think why people are avoiding reading the Bible and why that is hurting their lives. Even though they're saying these things are reasons why they won't read the Bible, if they did read the Bible, they would actually turn that reason into something good that would give them a benefit in their life. So, number one is me, me, me. That's what I call it. That is when you say, I need more time for me. I need more money, so I've got to go to work. I need a better social life, so I've got to go out and spend time with my friends. I need my family to appreciate me more, so I'm going to put more time into them. And after you've apportioned your time to all these different people and things, how much time have you really got left to read the Bible? Probably not much, is what I would surmise. So, the reason why I think this may be a little bit folly is because the stuff you're going to find in the Bible is going to give you back time. It isn't going to make your time less. You've always got time to read the Bible before bed, for instance. Like that's when I really like to read my Bible, before bed. And then I'm going to be in bed anyway. It's like everyone needs to sleep, don't they? Everyone's going to be in bed at some stage. Unless you're some kind of weird psycho who never sleeps. No names mentioned. So maybe that's a good time to read your Bible before bed. And what you'll find is you'll sleep better. So you'll have less stress in your lives. And you will wake up happier. So you will go on to have a better day. And guess what? If you're going to bed earlier, happier, sleeping better, and waking up earlier and getting out earlier, you've got more time in the day. So rather than saying, I've just wasted time reading the Bible, you've actually just given yourself back like an hour and a half. Not only that, the time you're going to spend and ways you're going to spend that time, the things you are going to do in your life, they're going to go better for you. For instance, I find you probably won't know this because I'm on a live stream now, but I have a real confidence issue. I hate being on camera. I don't like being in the spotlight. I don't like the idea of people looking at me. I don't like the idea of being popular because that means lots of people looking at you. So I know I have a problem with confidence. How do I solve the problem of confidence? Well, I read the Bible before bed, and I recognize one of the lessons from the Bible is when you are presented with a problem, you don't shy away from it. You meet that problem head on. Now, I interpreted this to mean because I don't like being in front of people, I should put myself in front of people. So that's what I'm doing right now. And what I find is the more time I spend doing that, the higher my confidence goes. And then because I've got more confidence, it's easier to do these. It takes less time. I have time back in my day. So maybe that's something you can pick up from reading the Bible before bed is if you have a problem with your confidence, the same as I do, there's an easy way to solve it. And that is to just power through it, head on, go into it. And you can use the Bible as your guide in order to do that. And it doesn't just have to be a confidence problem. Some people think, well, I need to work more to get money because I want things. But it's just the same with that. Like I used to work every single hour that God sent. Really, I was in sales. Anyone who's in sales will know it is a long, old job. Well, some people are lazy about it, right? And they just don't make a lot of money. But the people who put the hours in, they're the ones that make the money. But then what you'll find is when you get back, you're too tired to spend your money. So you end up just frittering it. You do things like buying takeaways, watching Netflix. You spend the money anyway. You're alive. You're going to spend your money, but you're not getting anything out of it. So once again, we return to the Bible. What does it say about work? We take the example of God. Get up early in the morning, wake up when the sun rises, get out and do something that is for the people you love. Don't just work for no reason. Create something worthwhile and useful and keep the people you love in mind while you do this. And that will improve the quality of your work. But of course, it's still going to be work. So you need to have slept well and woken up early in order to facilitate you doing that work. Now, I don't know what your job is. I don't even have a job anymore. I retired with an injury. So this is my job now. But I can tell you, I had tons of different jobs. And had I only known this, I would have had such an easier time. I wouldn't have needed to put that many hours in as I did in order to make that money back that I made, to buy all the wonderful things that I have now. And even now, after I've retired, because I have the knowledge from the Bible, I don't waste it. So not only do I have everything I need, I've actually got spare pennies at the end of the month that I can save up and spend on something else. And I feel like this is one of those things which you will miss if you're caught in the whole wash cycle of life and you're not taking time out for yourself. That's what this really is. Bible time is time for you. Like, think about when you're preaching, when other people are running their streams and they're saying, learn all this great stuff from all these different books in the Bible, like I do it sometimes. How useful is that to you, really, practically? It's only useful if you want to go and tell someone else, isn't it? I think about it. You get your mates lined up, or you're speaking to them on Facebook or WhatsApp or whatever social media, and you are saying, oh, I learned this great thing. I watched this stream and I saw this video and I learned all this cool stuff from scripture. You're giving something to them, which is cool, but doesn't benefit you all that much. Whereas making time to actually study the Bible properly on your own, no music, no TV on, before bed, like I suggested, the things you learn, they're going to benefit you directly. And you might think, well, that's really selfish. I want to benefit other people, but you've got to look after number one. So if you're not feeling good, you're not energetic, you're not filled with this stuff, you're not going to be any use to anyone. Whereas if you get to bed after reading the Bible, wake up early and energized, go and earn more money and come back happy, every single person you meet is going to benefit from you having done that. And you are going to benefit from them appreciating that you've done that. So that's point number one. I need more time. I need more stuff. I need more money. I need love, all this stuff. These are problems that you can solve on your own. You don't need to pray forever and then hope, although that is a good thing to do as well. You can actually pick up your Bible and read the solutions in here. And if you need pointers on which particular books to read, here's a little tip. This is what I love doing. Doesn't matter which Bible you use. I've got a KJV here. That's the one I'd recommend for actual pure Bible verses. But I've got my Revised Standard Edition. This is much easier to read. So this is the one I read personally. That's the one I use for videos. This one I read. So let's say I have a problem in my head. My problem is my friends are upset with me. We've been arguing because we had a disagreement. I just open a random page and I pick a random spot and I think, right, I'm going to read from here till the end of the chapter. It's like half an hour at most. It's usually 10 minutes. And God has led you to that page then, because you didn't choose it, but it's chosen. So whatever you find in that passage when you do that is going to help you solve your problem. And the beautiful thing is about it, you don't even need to understand why that bit's relevant. By the time you've read to the end, everything will become clear. Like I had a dream after I got attacked in the street by that crazy guy, and he doesn't like Christians very much. I had a dream, and in the dream, I saw Jeremiah 12. So I immediately woke up, turned to Jeremiah 12, and it answered all the worries that I had about that particular thing. And I slept well. And I read my Bible before I went to bed. So that's exactly what I'm trying to say to you is you don't need a big wide knowledge of everything in the Bible. You don't need to memorize it, like the Muslims do or claim to. You just need to have one by your bed and make sure you make that time to read a few passages, because life is tough. You know this. Life is tough and it's only going to get tougher. We only need to look at the news or listen to the radio to know that. We've got wars kicking off across the world, power-crazed rich celebrities trying to control things. We've got companies, corpos, trying to take over that bits of your life and trying to rail you into doing what they want so they can profit from you. So you've got all these problems, but you've got to remember you are still in control of you. You're in control of your own life, and that starts with your time, organizing your time, making time for yourself, reading the Bible before bed. So point number 2, it won't hurt to miss a day. I'm not going to learn anything from reading the Bible. A lot of people trick themselves into this. They think, oh, I'll go and read the Bible now before bed. So they get themselves into bed, they get the Bible there, little Gideon's Bible or whatever, and they start reading it. And then they get 2 sentences in and they just lose all hope for it. And they think, I just can't be bothered. Was it benefiting me to read that? But you've already seen a problem there, haven't you? If you can't even give yourself 5 minutes to read a Bible passage, then you are in a bad mood. Whether you realize it or not, your mood is deflated. And I feel like if you read the hopeful message in the New Testament, even a random page, like I said, or something that you've pre-thought of, that's going to make your mood improve, because the message in there is good. And using your brain is going to remind you, you are an intelligent, worthy human being made in the image of God. And it's not like he's just let you out the pen to roam around aimlessly, having problems in your life. He's actually given you a guidebook. So you can answer all your problems on your own. You can feel like you answered those problems. You can grow as a person by solving your own issues with God leading the way with this book. So never say, it won't hurt if I just, don't bother. If I just go to bed without reading the Bible. You could do that. It's up to you. You've got free will. But if you do that, you won't sleep as well. You'll wake up knackered. You won't work as hard. You'll come back in a bad mood. You won't be as nice to your family and your friends. And you will suffer because you won't be as happy as you should have been. And everyone else is going to miss out on the best version of you, which is what you'll get if you read the Bible. So that's what I'm saying. Point one, I need more time, stuff, and money. You will get more time and stuff and money yourself through your own efforts and works if you take the knowledge and the guidance in here and you make the time to read it. And point number two, saying, it won't hurt. I miss a couple of bits here and there if I don't read the whole Bible, if I don't read it at all, what am I losing? You'll never know what you're going to lose until you look between the covers of this book. You see, very clever. In fact, you know what? I think that is the thing that most humans do, isn't it? We go, I've got such a fear of missing out for this. So I'm going to waylay reading my Bible and I'm going to watch this YouTube video. I'm going to watch this stream. I'm going to watch this program. I'm going to listen to this music here. And I'm going to do all these things instead of reading my Bible. Because the Bible's not going anywhere. And you say, I'm too busy. But what you forget while you're doing that is if you're too busy now, what's to stop you saying you're too busy tomorrow? What's to stop you saying I'm too busy for the rest of time and never making the effort to put that time aside for yourself, to enrich your soul, so that you can arm yourself with God's wisdom and grace and solve your own problems? Now, just imagine that. If you could say, I woke up this morning with a load of problems that I was able to solve on my own, make yourself happy and your life will improve. So we know. Give the time to yourself that you deserve and give some of that time, like before bed, to reading the Bible. Don't convince yourself that it doesn't hurt you to miss this time out. It's me time. That's what that time is. You're spending time on yourself. You're making your mood better. You're making your level of understanding for life better. And you are using the time constructively. Instead of just worrying about your problem, not solving it, you're actually thinking of the solution while you're reading how that solution is going to come to you and how that solution is going to work while you are doing it. So it's completely beneficial to do it. That's what I'm going to try and hammer into you. Never think that it's not beneficial to pick up a Bible before bed and just read a little bit from a random page or whatever, and you will do just fine. So we move on to point three. I'll miss an opportunity on something else. I need to go out. I need to drink beers with my friends, or I need to work late or something like that. You make up more reasons why you're not even going to bother going to bed. And therefore, you're not going to have that time to read the Bible. But just like we were saying with the last point, the Bible is not going anywhere. Life is not going anywhere either, friends, ladies, gents, and Pikachus. That opportunity is going nowhere. So saying to yourself, I'm going to miss this opportunity. No, you won't. God is leading you, remember. If he wants you to have a good opportunity, you will get to it. If he's trying to put you off something which actually looks like a good opportunity but isn't, he's going to put barriers in the way. For instance, when I want to do a stream, if there is tons of technical problems and people are ringing my doorbell or there's a power cut or whatever, I take the hint. The hint from God is, Daily Corbett, this is not going to be a good stream. Whatever subject you've picked, you need to change it. And that's how he lets me know, by putting barriers in the way to make life difficult for me to end up doing that thing, because he's not a slave driver. I can do it if I want. If I really need to power through and get that stream done, if I'm going to be stubborn about it, he's going to let me do it. But he's going to let me know that it's not what he wants me to do. And if I listen to those messages and I do only what he wants me to do, everything I do is going to be beneficial and I'm going to really enjoy it. That's the thing I'm trying to get at here. This is going to make you enjoy your life more. It's not going to take time away from you. It's going to give you time back, free time that you can use for yourself. It's not going to take money away from you. It's going to teach you discipline to spend your money in better ways and save up the bits you don't spend. So you'll have more stuff, better stuff, and you'll have savings because you won't be driven by indiscipline. You won't be wasting it, And more than that, you will be happy with the result. So your confidence will step up every single day that you do this. Point number 4. We need Jesus individually more than the biggest sinner on earth. Now, stay with me here. I'm not saying you are the biggest sinner or I am the biggest sinner. But what I'm saying is it's very easy to look down on other people who have big, obvious sins and say, you need Jesus, bro, and not consider yourself. But we've got to keep in mind why we have these things at all. Why do we have Bibles? It's because no matter what level of spiritual attainment you have reached, even if you feel like you're fine today and you have no problems now, life is very long, full of problems. It's full of great things. It's full of bad things. It's full of everything, right? The experience of life is up ahead of you. So we can trick ourselves very easily by going, I've had a great week. I'm fine. I haven't committed any sins. What do I need to read the Bible for? You need Jesus just as much as a murderer, just as much as anyone, just as much as the worst sinner. And the reason is, even if you're doing fine now, you will lull yourself into a false sense of security by thinking that you don't need to read this thing anymore. And then when you hit a hurdle, when you hit a problem, it's going to seem like a huge, big problem. It's going to take you down. And when you're on the floor, you'll be going, oh, Jesus, help me. But if we know the wisdom in this book and we read it, we'll know that is life. Run as fast as you can. Try and get over the hurdle. Then you'll be running for a bit. Then you'll hit another hurdle. Sometimes you're going to hit a hurdle that's too high or you didn't jump correctly and you are going to crash. So when you crash to the floor and you feel disappointed, despondent, it feels crappy that you've done that, how do you know how to recover quickly? Well, you stick to a routine. You get back to the basics. Sleeping, eating, reading your Bible before bed, keeping in touch with your friends and family. These are the basic building blocks of how you can live happily and you can solve all your problems. And this goes for any problem. Like I was saying, money problems, relationship problems, problems making decent content when you're not confident. Like that's my main thing. And I'm sat here now as the proof of it. Like, how is a guy like me who doesn't really have that much confidence end up sitting on a stream with people watching him under pressure to make good content and managing to pull it off? It's not natural to me. It's because I put my trust in the Lord. And I know if I read this, he'll put his trust in me and I will do things properly. I'll do things well. And that's what I'm trying to do here. And I feel like all of us can benefit from that, whether we are really, really great, sinless beings for the time being, or whether we're at the bottom of the chain and we're really bad sinners. Because Christ loves us all equally. None of us are perfect. Like, I'm not perfect. I did that video the other day on the hypocrites, beating down the hypocrites. And someone said to me, oh, geez, well, I'm going to hell then. And I thought to myself, this applies to me too, I don't get off the hook just because I had a good day. Who knows, in a couple of days, I might do a really bad thing and not mean to do it and, screw up my day. And then when that happens, I'm on the floor, I've hit the hurdle. First thing I'm going to go for is go to bed early, read a bit of Bible so that I can feel better and I can prepare myself for what's up ahead and approach it in the right frame of mind, Don't let myself fall out of love with the world. That's what happens when we have problems. We have really bad problems and people criticize us. This is the main one. If you're getting criticized by someone, it's very easy for you to forget that you're in love with the world. It's a world full of blessings. It is a good world to live in. Even though we've got these corpo guys trying to screw it up and we've got wars in other countries, poverty, disease, all the rest of it. That's additional stuff. The core part that we have of the world is good. We have food and water and shelter and safety, and we have companionship from our friends and our family. And we have an opportunity to express our unique view on the world and show the world what we're made of. And if we really want to show them our best side, how to do it is in this little book here. So let's make sure we read it. So that's the end of point 4. You need Jesus more than the worst sinner. So do I. Don't be too lofty. Stay humble and you'll do just fine. Point number 5. I don't see anything by it. No one else is doing it. None of my friends are reading the Bible every night. Why should I? This is one of my favorite ones. I used to say this. So just because none of your friends are reading the Bible every night, you don't want to be like your friends. You want your friends to be like Jesus, and you want to be like Jesus. Jesus has got everything. He does everything right. His word is the truth. Can you imagine what power you would have in your life if your word was also the truth? If you could breeze through life just saying exactly the right thing on command like this, how much better your life would be and how much better you would be. Well, I'm not saying you're ever going to get there, but you can get towards there. And the way you get towards there is by recognizing you don't want to be like your friends. Your friends are imperfect, just the same as you are. They're no better or worse than you. So surely if you're going to have an ideal to follow, you want it to be a good ideal, and you want to make sure it's the best ideal in the world that you can possibly find. And Jesus Christ is that ideal, I'm telling you. The guy knows everything, does everything right, and the truth of his life is available to you. All you got to do is open the covers, read it, half an hour every night, and you will know exactly what you're doing in life. And then your friends will want to be like you. When they see the success that you are gaining, they hear the truths coming out of your mouth, and they see how your life is being molded into shape by you, by your will, living happily and righteously, rather than you looking jealously at them and going, oh, I want to be like them. I want to have Jim's car. I want to have Matthew's girlfriend. I want to have James's house. Over time, you will see success, and they will be looking over at you going, how is he doing this? This is miraculous. I want to be like that guy. And the reason they'll be saying that, and they'll be right, by the way, is because that guy, you, when you're reading the Bible, you're going to be like that guy, the best guy. And another thing is, don't put your table too near to an edge which has a sharp piece of wood on it, because you'll bang your elbow and it will really annoy you when you're trying to concentrate. So try not to do that. Maybe if I move a little bit. So anyway, that's the main 5 points. So we'll break it down like this. The first one is greed. Everyone feels greed all the time. We are a greedy species. And it's greed for more time. I want more time. I want more stuff. I want more money. And in order that I can make that happen, I need to rob time away from myself, and I need to throw it towards work, or I need to commit to things with my friends, or I need to give it to someone else. So that's the first thing you need to remember is feel free to give 98% of your life to other people. Be generous and charitable. Do everything that everyone else wants. But just know you won't grow as a person if you're always doing that. They will grow as a person off your efforts. You will only grow as a person if you put yourself first, and you make the time to read this stuff and understand it, not so that you can preach it to others, dear brothers and sisters. No, it's so that you can make better decisions in your life. When people cross you or they want to try and change your mind, you can stand up to them and you will feel confident in doing so. And the reason you will have that confidence is because you will know, not only do you think it's a good decision, Jesus is behind you. He thinks it's a good decision, and that will give you the confidence to say, no, I'm sorry, you're wrong. I'm going to do this. It's my time. So thanks for the offer, guys, but I'm going to go off and do my own thing. Then I'm going to get to bed early. I'm going to wake up early. I'm going to smash work. I'm going to smash my social life. Everything's going to be amazing. And it's going to be me that made that decision and did the work. So everyone benefits from it. We also know thinking that it won't hurt to miss a day is folly, because you're missing out on the time which you spend on yourself. And like I say, you'll end up just being a slave to society, a slave to your friends and family, a slave to your boss. Then you don't get to express yourself. And trust me, even if you don't feel like it is, you have an amazing spirit. Everyone does. We all have a piece of God that we're born with. We're made in the image of. And in order that we can express that on the world and give that to the world properly, fully, we need to develop ourselves. And that means not surrendering our time to everyone else, not doing what everyone else wants all of the time. We've got to be the one who leads our own life. And that's how that's going to work. So we know, don't miss any opportunities, but know what is a good opportunity and what is a bad opportunity by way of God leading you. Like I say, if I put on a stream and then the lights are flickering, there's a power cut, or my phone's ringing off and I can't get a minute's peace and I don't have time to prepare, I just cancel the stream. And if it's not cancelled, I know God is behind me to make this, and everything I say is going to come out well. Like this one seems to be going pretty well, doesn't it? So that proves that out. And then the last ones, you need Jesus more than the worst sinner. You probably don't really, but it's a good attitude to have. You need him at least as much as the worst sinner, because it doesn't matter what you're doing in your life. You're going to have problems because you're a human being. And even if you're perfect, you care about other human beings who are not perfect. So they're going to bring you their problems. So if you want to be able to solve them amicably, friendly, with grace, and well, not screw it up any more than you have to, this is where you're going to find that guidance. And you're only going to find it if you read it in your own time, in the peace and quiet of your own life, and you really think about it and you absorb that knowledge. You eat the blessing, if you like. It's not to preach to other people. It's for you to use practically. Then you can go out and help other people, and you're going to be doing it right. Jesus will smile on you. And the last thing is, nobody else is doing it. It doesn't matter if nobody else is doing it. Think about it this way. All the important people through history were not following the crowd. Everything that made their life great, everything that put them on the map, the reason we remember these people's names is because they didn't follow the crowd. And even though they were hated sometimes at first, like Moses wasn't popular at first, none of the apostles were popular. Even Jesus was hated some places he went. They didn't like him. He's the most famous guy on earth today, and he has the most popular book on earth. And it's just a description of his words. Like, can you imagine being that amazing that 2,000 years after you lived, people were still discussing your words because they were so truthful and useful? That is what you will get if you make that time for yourself and you read the Bible. And you do it for the right reasons, not to preach to others, not to profit from, not to sell t-shirts or whatever, although you can do those things. You're doing it so that you can learn how to be a good servant to God, and God's mission to you is to live the best life you can, express your personality and your unique character, build your life in a positive way, and be happy. That's the main thing. Once you master this, being happy is a side effect. Like, you don't even need to try. It will just be happening for you. That's really what we're getting at here. So we know those 5 reasons are good reasons to read the Bible. And we know that even though you might think you're too busy, you've got too much stuff to watch or too much music to listen to, and your friends want you and your family want you, your time is more important. They've got their lives. They've got their time. Never think that you are not the most important person in your life. And it's not selfish to think that either. You are. Think about it like this. You're the planet at the center of your own universe. Even though we know we're going around the sun, well, most people know we're going around the sun, all the planets are spinning around in space. In your perception, you are at the middle. You're in the middle. Your perception ends where your sight and your ears can hear up to. Outside of what you can perceive, there might as well be no world. And the reason we have to think like that is so that we don't lose sight of what we want. That's what I'm trying to tell you. If you want things, which you do, and you want to know how to get them without stepping on other people, you need to develop a long-term view, using the things you're good at, avoiding the things you're bad at. But I can't tell you exactly how that's going to work. You need to develop a strategy which works for you, which you work for. And in order that you can develop that strategy in your own way, like you can do the work, even though you might think, well, I don't know how to develop a strategy. How am I going to do that? No, you do know how to do these things. You're well capable. To have the confidence to recognize that, you need this, or any of these Bibles. It didn't have to be a Gideon's one. So that's the main point to take away from this. In conclusion, when you look at a Bible, don't think, I can't be bothered to read it. It's like, no, the reason why you're looking at it like that is because books generally aren't that useful. You read them for a kind of curiosity or a research book or whatever. There's nothing practical in a book apart from this one. This one will improve your life in so many ways. All you need to do is give it 5 minutes. If you haven't recognized the effect in the 5 minutes, just give it another 5 minutes, and I guarantee you, within that 10 minutes, you will find something in there that gets your attention and makes you recognize, hang on, this is describing me. This is describing a problem I need to solve now in my life. And this is leading me to the answer. It's not giving me the answer on a plate. It's making me work for it. But if I'm willing to do the work, I will find a way to that answer, and it will be me that puts it into practice. And that's how you'll become confident through solving your problems, and your life will improve. I'm the proof of that. If you don't believe me, I used to have a terrible life. Before I found God, I was an atheist. I used to smoke tons of cannabis. I used to do all different drugs. I used to drink heavily. I wasn't a particularly honest person. I embellished a lot of the time or exaggerated my life. And I thought this was the way to be popular. And it did work. It was the way to be popular. But you know what I found out? I would far rather be popular with a small group of honest people and God than a huge group of people who were all doing that Billy bullshitter thing, exaggerating out their life, because those aren't real relationships. They're following each other in a big circle and they're getting nothing done. Like I say, don't follow the crowd. No one's going to remember that crowd. There's no monument to the crowd. What are the achievements of the crowd? No one remembers that. That's not important in life. People remember the individuals who lead the crowd. That can be you. You just don't think that it can. But I'm telling you, this book is the guide to get the most out of yourself. And no matter how much you think you've got going for you, no matter how clever you think you are or how pretty or ugly that you see yourself as in the mirror, I'm telling you, God has created you in his image. You've got everything you need and in abundance to lead the crowd of ignorant people, which is what most people are. Let's be honest. Most people are ignorant. I'm ignorant most of the time. Everyone's ignorant, which is why we got this. So if you can put this into practice, not only are you not going to need to follow the crowd will start following you, brothers and sisters. And you won't mind. You'll have the confidence to take that challenge on, and you'll be setting them an example which they will cherish. They will say, this guy's got it going on, or this girl's got it going on, and they will want to follow your example, and you will want to follow this example so that you don't drop a clanger. So, in summary, if you want love in your life, you have to love life in general. And that's something you're going to get from giving that time to yourself, reading the Bible. If you want wealth and earthly things, you've got to think, why do I deserve these things? What am I going to use them for? So rather than just saying, I want to be Scrooge McDuck and have a huge pile of gold coins to dive into, break my neck when I realize it's a solid object. No. Think to yourself, okay, I want a nice fast car. What am I going to use it for? Yeah, I want a really nice flat full of fancy gear, fancy computer equipment, computer games. I want nice clothing. It's not bad to want these things as long as they're for a purpose. So if you want to know what your purpose is, you'll find it by reading this. And God will allow you to have those things through the work of your own hands. No one's going to give it to you on a plate. And you won't want it on a plate. It won't fulfill you. But if you figure out your purpose and you get that stuff right from reading the Bible, God will reward you those earthly things. It's not like you have to be a pauper. It's not like some religions, like Buddhists, seem to love living on the streets with no money. God doesn't want you to be penniless. God wants you to have a huge house, a nice car, a pretty boyfriend or girlfriend, money in each pocket, loads of friends, a loving family, everything that you dreamed that you should have when you were younger. God actually wants you to have that stuff. But the catch is, he wants you to have a purpose for it past just nourishing your ego, So think, right, I need all this stuff so I can get people's attention so that I can preach them gospel. That's a good purpose. Start preaching the gospel. Once you get an audience, God will give you the nice house, the nice car, the nice clothes, the pretty boyfriend or girlfriend. Whatever you want will be yours as long as you're sticking to this. And the last thing is greeting your beloved departed. Like I really wanted to end on this because a friend of mine recently had someone pass away in his family. And he was saying, I'm not going to see them till I die now. So I'm going to be sad about that. And I was saying to him, don't think about it like that. Because when you feel sad, you're not going to go to bed. You're not going to read your Bible. You're not going to wake up on time and you will not be happy. If you fall out of love with the world, you're not doing this because we know love is the whole of the law. That goes for the rest of the world. That's why Jesus makes a point of saying, love thine enemy, even though we know this is my enemy, we still treat him like an enemy, but we're not going to fall out of love with the world because of this enemy. If they relent, we're going to forgive them kind of thing. If they stop trying to kill us, we'll go, all right, forgive you. And likewise, even if that guy has killed the person that you miss, you've got to recognize God plans all these things out so that you can learn about life, so that you can experience other people's full personality, and so that you can impress your full personality on the world. you want to get it right, this is the guidebook. And then the people who leave you behind, go to heaven, they will be so much more happy when you arrive at the pearly gates and you have an absolutely amazing story to tell them. Not one where you were sat around moping, oh, I'm so sad, I've lost this and I've lost that, you know, my life's meaningless without them in it. No, they don't want to hear that. They want to hear about how you powered through how sad that was and you made the best of it. You followed the good advice you were given and you made a good life for yourself. You know, you might have even led other people out of depression and made their lives better as a result. So that's what you'll get out of making time to read the Bible, not treating it like a spiritual buffet and just go, I'll just eat a little bit here or there. You know, I'll just read a few lines off of Google when it suits me. No. Every single night, this is what I do. Before I go to bed, get myself ready for bed, get a cup of tea, open a random page of the Bible, and I spend half an hour at least reading it. And I am never disappointed by what I find. I'm always really happy to get to the end of that half an hour. And the more you do it, the more value it has. Not so you can preach to other people either. It's so you can have a benefit from it. So that's the end of this little lecture on why you should read the Bible, how you can recoup time and actually be bothered to read the Bible now that you know there's so much benefit in it for you, not so that you can preach to other people or improve their lives. You can do that as a side effect. This is to help you make your life better. And your hands will be the one building it, you know? It's not like God's going to do everything for you. It's not like someone else is going to do everything for you. You will get the skills and confidence you need from reading this every single day. And you will actually make yourself face those difficult problems. And when you come back with a victory, you will be smiling. You will be so much happier as a result. Then you can start preaching to other people and say, here's an example of something I did. Read the Bible, and then I did this. Well, it worked for me. It probably worked for you as well. And then they will follow you. You won't be following the crowd. The crowd will be following you. And then, my son or daughter, you will be unofficially a preacher. That's what preachers are. They don't have to be in a church wearing a silly hat. They don't have to be shouting and giving out leaflets in the middle of the town square. No. You can be an effective preacher just by giving someone a positive example of when you faced a problem that you thought was going to overtake you, that seemed like it was hopeless, and you went to Christ and said, please help me, Christ. You know, did a little prayer, read some Bible, and then you were inspired to give that problem the biggest nightmare it's ever going to see, and you ended the problem and came back with a victory. And that is the New Testament. Victory for Good People is this book. So please take my advice, read it every single night. Don't make excuses, because you will just hurt yourself and suffer for not knowing the things in this book. So that's the end of this video. Hope you enjoyed that and you learned something. God bless you all. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye now.